Morning and happy, what's today, Thursday, to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroy Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rebel.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned. As you know, it's been a long morning on with Nick and Dawn on 1210 WPHT. Very long morning, here for another hour with you. Then jumping on a gentleman by the name of Scott in North Dakota. And then after that, running up to Nashville to join Tommy Lahren this afternoon. So a very, and Newsmax after that, a little bit later in the day. So it's going to be one of those marathon Thursdays. Love it. Love to be here with you guys and gals. Going to talk a lot about that Epstein. At first, I didn't want to do it. At first, I didn't want to go near it again because it always, people get the wrong impression of what I'm saying and things. So at first I did not want to do it. But we have to. It is what's being talked about this morning. Very important admission. A couple of them, but one in particular, very important admission coming from yesterday's Epstein quote unquote press conference, if you want to call it that. And I want to preface the entire show with the following. I am not at any point in time today trying to discredit the testimony of victims. I'm not trying to say or justify or normalize at all or run cover for at all any of the monsters that participated in what Epstein was involved in regarding sex trafficking. But I want to come at this, which I've been trying to do since the whole debacle started in early July with the list and all that, the files and Bondi and all this stuff. I want to come at this from a straight on, from a rational and logical and balanced and reasonable angle. Okay? Yesterday, and this was not because of the victims, I want to be very clear. Yesterday reeked of a publicity stunt. Reeked. Not because of the victims, but because of the politicians who were involved. Reeked of a publicity stunt. And it is a publicity stunt that is being taken advantage of by the left. Great job, Marjorie Taylor Greene, standing out there in front of signs that are accusing Donald Trump of being a pedophile. Great job. Real good. That's what Donald Trump means when he says hoax. He's not saying that sex trafficking and sexual abuse didn't exist. He's saying that the Democrats and the radical left are turning this into something that it isn't. That is the problem here. Okay? We're going to get to it. There's a lot that came from yesterday's Epstein quote unquote press conference. It reeked of a publicity stunt. Not because of the victims, but because of the people who were involved with it. And I will show, we're going to get into some other stuff as well. What we've been saying all along about the lack of a list, that there never was a list, okay? An actual list of names that Jeffrey Epstein himself kept. Why? Because criminals generally don't log their crimes on Excel spreadsheets, right? Today, I, Jeffrey Epstein, trafficked a girl to Bill Clinton who, proceeded to harvest her organs in the basement of Epstein Island. That evidence doesn't and never existed. Don't take it from me, though. Because when I said that 2 months ago, I got accused of covering for pedophiles. So I guess the lawyer who's representing Epstein's victims now I guess the lawyer who's representing Epstein's victims now is also, I guess, covering for pedophiles too. I guess he's I guess he's Mossad, right? Okay. We're going to get to all that. We've got some funny stuff to get to today. Donald Trump, if you didn't know, yesterday last night went on a rampage on Truth Social of meme posting. I'll give you my favorite one. This one made me literally start crying. It was so funny. Before we do all of that, folks, because of you on this show, everybody who's watching, the thousands of you that are here, right? The thousands of you that are watching on Rumble right now, rumble.com/LFA TV. That is home base. 5,000 people in here right now. Hit that thumbs up button. We were spitballing yesterday live. Row, row, row your boat, right? Yeah, well, we rowed that boat, and I will show you what we put together, what I was able to put together on the way out to Michael Patrick Leahy's show. And it's actually performing and being enjoyed much more than I thought it would. So we will get to that in a second. Before we do that, I want to talk to you about our friends at OFP Farms. Explore the wonderful quality of Faith Farm and Freedom products with a special limited time 15% discount on your entire purchase. Look, take a peek at the lineup from OFP Farms. Where is my Goat Kisses lip balm today? It is in my left pocket. Usually it's in my right pocket. It's here. It's always here.
That shouldn't be allowed.
It's in my left pocket. Take a look at the lineup. This is the Crapstick Killer. You know Chapstick's owned by Pfizer? I used to use it all the time. Brendan said, look at who it's owned by. It says it right on the label. Tossed it out the window. The window is the second story window. A heave and a hoe, and away we go. We threw it out the window, right? Ooh. Started using OFP Farms Goat Kisses lip balm. Will not go back. We will not look back at the Crapstick era. We look back at that with very, very disdainful memories, okay? Whether you're looking for gentle skincare or thoughtful gifts, these products bring together expert care and good values to make your daily routine better. Do not miss this chance to enjoy premium products that support your health and ethical choices for the entire family. OFP Farms is the small farm with big love. They've got great stuff on there like the Outlaw Soap, smelling like a felon. Our good friend Snarl was hanging out in Misfits chat last night. He's the one who coined the catchphrase, smelling like a felon. That is OFPfarms.com, promo code SHAWN, OFPfarms.com, promo code Sean. That's Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November, OFPfarms.com, promo code SHAWN for 15% off of your entire purchase on the website. We're throwing this up on the screen for you right now. OFPfarms.com, promo code Sean. That's OFPfarms.com, promo code SHAWN. Row, row, row your boat. You guys inspired me. We put it together. It's up. I have my one of my new favorite apps now that I use for all my short stuff, little clips, this caption app, so everybody can hear what I'm saying, because sometimes they don't understand. Sometimes, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Right? Some people don't understand what I'm saying sometimes. It's a little fuzzy. The audio is not always the best. So here it is. Donald Trump, row, row, row your boat. I promise you this is better, at least a little better, than when the Democrats sing. Take a look.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. We dropped a bomb right on their heads, the best you've ever seen. The fake news and the left are melting down and throwing fits, 'cause we took these bad hombres out and blew them all to bits. The FAFO president has a message for the cartels. If you bring drugs into our country, we'll bomb you straight to hell. It's called F around and find out. And these bad hombres effed around, and now they found out. And now they're fish food. Trende Aragua is Trende annihilated. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
I didn't have the captions on that one. I kept it off for the widescreen because it wasn't going to fit properly. But there it is. Row, row, row your boat, folks. Row, row, row your boat. It came true. We did it. And it has been well received. I mean, hundreds of thousands of views across multiple platforms.
It's a good one.
It's not
That's
bad.
funny. That one and the one that you did just before that one was fun.
Violets are blue and roses are red. Yeah, the left is upset that I'm not dead.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
You know, when these rhymes, when they click and they come to me that quick, like, hey, it was in your car on the way out to Michael Patrick Leahy yesterday.
You was the passenger princess yesterday.
I was the passenger prince.
No. That's not what it's called.
I was the passenger papaw. Okay. Hanging out, rolling, because my truck was in the shop. It's all good.
PPP.
Yes. and wrote that whole thing. So that was fun. Also on Truth Social last night, just figured I'll play this because it's really funny. Donald Trump went on a meme posting tear, and this was by far my favorite. It's Donald Trump posted a meme of Chris Christie and Jiggly Belly Pritzker sumo wrestling with Chariots of Fire playing. Look at this. You'll never unsee this, too, by the way. There it was. That was a funny one last night. There were a bunch of other ones, including, do I have the Rosie O'Donnell one too? I think I had it. I might have had it. Let's see. Do I have the Rosie? I don't think I have the Rosie one. I thought I did, but I don't have the Rosie one. All right. But he threatened to take away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship as well. So it was pretty funny. Posted memes. Figured we'll have a good time because we're going to talk about a very heavy topic today, Epstein. Don't want to do it, but I also do want to because I want to clear up a lot of things and, show everyone that this is the stance. I don't have to change my position on anything because it's been the same the entire time. But first, a word from our friends at My Patriot Supply, mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. Did you know that September is Emergency Preparedness, National Preparedness Month? So it is the perfect time to ask yourself some questions like, how much food do you have on hand for emergencies? How would you get clean water if the tap went dry tomorrow, right? Would you be ready for things like that? What would you do if a storm knocked out power for an entire week? Would you be ready if a storm took the power grid down, took your power out for a whole week? Would you be all right? Would you be able to survive that? Would you make it through okay? Well, with My Patriot Supply, they can help you out with this stuff. I have to admit, I have to improve a little bit on our end as well. Luckily, our friends at My Patriot Supply have made disaster preparedness easier and more affordable than ever by giving you over $1,500 worth of emergency food and preparedness gear totally free. They just launched their Preparedness Month Mega Kit, and it includes a full year of emergency food, a water filtration system that can purify almost any water source, a solar backup generator, and a whole lot more. And this is the best part. If you go to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned, you can get 90 preparedness essentials totaling over $1,500 absolutely free. Head over to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned for full details. That is mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. Don't wait till disaster strikes to start scrambling for resources. They've made it easier than ever to get prepared for a crisis. 90 items, over $1,500 this month only for free. mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. It's mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned.
I love free stuff.
Yeah? Everybody loves free stuff.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, everybody, including New York City's voters, because I'm going to say the M word and get that one person listed. Mamdani. Okay? Probably going to be the next mayor, though we do have an update on that as well. Interesting angle. We'll see. All right, Epstein. We got to get to it. I know that search results for Epstein are down and all of this, but we do have to get to it. The lawyer that was out there at the press conference representing the victims had some very interesting things to say regarding the Epstein list. I want to go to something that I posted on July 6th, right when that whole what do you call it? The debacle started with, the memo coming from the Department of Justice, etc. This is what I said on July 6th at 9:35 p.m. July 6th, 2025 on Epstein. There never was a quote-unquote list per se, i.e. no document that Epstein held that said, quote, I traffic kids to A, B, and C. Suicide in jail is plausible, but nobody will ever know for sure. What I don't get and will never understand is Bondi. She did all this grandstanding on TV about the Epstein files and then did the binder thing. What was that about and why did she lie? The amount of people who freaked out over this and said, oh, you're covering. What do you mean there's no files? What do you mean there's no list? There never was a self-kept list that Jeffrey himself kept. I know we've heard the stories about black books and about lists and about this thing and that and all of this. I know we've heard the speculation about this, but just because somebody says something that sounds good does not mean it's the truth. It also doesn't mean it's a lie. It means we don't know. I had thought if there was a quote-unquote list of clients, that it was a list of clients that was aggregated by the authorities through investigations, not a list that came off of Jeffrey Epstein's hard drive, okay? Well, the lawyer representing the victims yesterday at the quote-unquote press conference said the same things that I said 2 months ago. Watch.
What do you guys think? I know you're working on your own list, but do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein had a list?
Yeah, so there's not a list. Yeah. So here's what it was. Just like you heard everybody today, Jeffrey Epstein created, through an organization that of enablers, of people that were on his payroll. It was a complicated scheme where others should still be investigated because they helped to enable him and operate this scheme. Without those people, he could not have done this. But the purpose was for him to personally abuse people. With that being said, certain of his friends, he farmed out certain of the women that he was exploiting too. But that wasn't the primary purpose of that scheme. And I don't think he wrote the names of those people down. There's not a list of, hey, here's all of the people that I sent females to. That's just not how that organization works.
It's literally, it's almost like he read my post. There's no list. That was kept by Epstein. Now, was there at some point in time in the custody of the FBI, in the custody of the DOJ, whatever, a list of associates that were in the orbit that may have been involved, that went to the island, et cetera, a list of the accused? Maybe. Does that list exist anymore? I don't think so. This is the stunning admission that I'm talking about that came from the Epstein event yesterday. It wasn't the lawyer saying that there's no list. And everybody ran with the story. Brennan, what was the big story yesterday that came out of the press conference? What did the victims say they were going to do?
Release a list.
They were going to make their own list,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I can talk louder.
No, that's fine.
I just wasn't sure if that was the
They
answer.
were going to release their own list, right?
Right.
Okay. Sounds good, right? Good idea?
No.
Why not?
Well, because you don't come out and say it first. You just, if you really have it, you put it out first.
Right.
And then talk about it
That's
after.
part of it, but also
What
happens if you accuse somebody of doing something really, really bad and you don't have evidence to back it up? What can happen to you?
You can get in trouble.
You can get in trouble. You can get sued, right?
Right.
Okay. That's my point. Now, again, evidence is not just somebody saying that something happened. That is quote unquote evidence. That's testimony. But you need more than an accusation to prove that something happened, right? How many times have I been accused of being paid by Israel? Brennan, am I paid by Israel?
No.
Thank you.
But we do love our Jews.
We love our Jews.
We do.
We do. When I support Israel's right to exist, fine, no problem. But I'm not paid to say that.
Right.
Okay? But just because people said that I'm getting paid by Israel does not mean it's true. I've been accused of being paid by a lot of people. Okay? None of that is true. Okay. So just think about this. Christine Blasey Ford, right? With Brett Kavanaugh. How about what happened to Trevor Bauer? Okay. How about what E. Jean Carroll said about Donald Trump? Just because somebody says something happened does not mean it actually happened. Now, I am not accusing the victims yesterday of lying. I want to believe the victims. I want to believe the victims. But because of the fact that I've got a platform, we have this show, I don't want to give you information that I think is inaccurate. I don't know if what the victims are saying is accurate. I'm not victim blaming or victim shaming or saying believe no women, but I'm also not coming out and doing the believe all women thing. I believe the people who give me a reason to believe them more than just what they say. That's, again, not to say that I think they're lying. That's me telling you, honestly, I want to believe them. I believe what they're saying probably happened, but we don't know for sure because we don't have any proof beyond their own testimony. Thomas Massie, I don't like him. But he said the following, and people are not picking up on this. They're saying, "Oh, the Epstein victims are going to release their own list. Finally, we're going to get the names of the elite pedophiles. Finally, we're going to get it. Finally, we're going to get it." Guys, that's not going to happen. And here's why. Thomas Massie says the following. Survivors at our press conference announced they are privately compiling their own Epstein list. They would be sued into homelessness for naming names. But Marjorie Taylor Greene and I are willing to name names in the House of Representatives under constitutional speech or debate immunity. Do you want to know what this statement really means? Do you want to know what this statement really means? Again, this is not me trying to delegitimize victims or say that nothing happened. This means because this would open them up and this would expose them to legal consequences for making these accusations publicly. This means that those victims who want to release their own list do not possess enough evidence that would shield them from getting sued. I want to believe the victims, but this statement from Massie that you're looking at on your screen, it means straight up that the claims that the victims will make, the accusations that the victims will make, the names that the victims will name, those claims will not hold up in court. It means that the ironclad evidence that we thought exists, that we want to exist so we can hold people accountable, does not exist anymore. There's no blackmail tapes. There's no client list, which is a shame. But that is what Thomas Massie is admitting here. That's what he's admitting here. You cannot be sued successfully for defamation for telling the truth. Okay? The truth is the best defense. But in order for you to, because when you make the accusation, the burden of proof is on the accuser. The burden of proof is not on the defendant or on the accused. Okay, as sick as it sounds in a case like this, if you believe that Bill Clinton did something to a 13-year-old on Epstein Island, which many people believe, and that 13-year-old is now a grown woman and is saying Bill Clinton did this, she has to prove it. There has to be proof, or Bill Clinton can say, well, she doesn't have the evidence. She's just making it up. Rightfully or wrongfully, he can do that and he can sue and he will win because of how damaging the accusation is and the lack of evidence. What Massie is saying here by saying these people will get sued, he is saying that they may be telling the truth, but they don't have the receipts to prove it's the truth. And that's the biggest issue right now. What has been admitted by Massie is that there is no evidence in any of these files, anything. Because if that evidence did exist, then the victims can make those claims. They've got a lawyer already. I'm sure if legal expenses started to pile up, that crowdfunding would be a more than viable option. More than viable option. If there was evidence out there that would corroborate the things that these victims say happened and the people they're accusing who did these things to them, then they would be more than willing, I would believe, to come out with that list of names, but they can't. Because that evidence isn't available. It doesn't exist anymore. That's what Thomas Massie is admitting here. You're not opening yourself up to legal issues for telling the truth if you can prove it's the truth. You're opening yourself up to legal issues for telling the truth if you can't prove it's the truth. The burden of proof always comes down to the accuser, not the accused. In this case, someone's being accused of child sex trafficking and child sex assault. You need to be able to prove it beyond just saying it happened. And I'm not saying that the victims are lying, and I'm not saying that I don't believe them. I'm saying that if this goes to court, if they name people and it goes to court, they will lose. And they will not just lose the case, they will be sued into oblivion, into financial ruin. Any families that they have, anything that they've got going on for themselves, businesses, jobs, their homes, their livelihoods, their lives as a whole will be destroyed if they do this. And Massey admitted that. It means the evidence doesn't exist. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. That means there's no proof that it happened. Okay, very simple example. Let's say a few hours ago it rained here, and then the sun came out and all the rain evaporated and everything was bone dry again. You could tell me until you're blue in the face that it rained, but I'm looking at the ground right now and I'm not seeing any evidence of rain. The evidence doesn't exist that it rained. You're telling me that it rained. Well, that's not enough. Do you have a video of it happening? Do you have a photo of it happening? Do you have, rain gauge you collected before and after the rain? Do you have anything that proves that what you said happened beyond just your testimony? This is what I'm saying. That's the admission here. What it means, what Massey is saying here with this tweet, if he's saying these victims would be sued, it means they don't have the receipts to back up what they're saying. That doesn't mean they're lying. It just means that evidence is gone and doesn't exist anymore. And that's the problem here. Nobody's covering up for pedophiles. That already happened. That already happened years ago. 20 plus years ago, the cover-up happened. Now, the remnants of whatever exists up until this point are being released. That's it. There's nothing else, folks. There's nothing else. And I take no pride and no pleasure in saying that. There's just nothing else. And now even the people who are pushing for full transparency are admitting there's nothing else. These victims can say whatever they want. They can say all these terrible things happen to them. As soon as they name names, they're going to get sued because they don't have the evidence to back it up. And you can't do that. And it's a shame. And it's a shame. And it didn't have to turn into this spectacle like we saw here, again, with Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene. You want to say you're an ally to Donald Trump and then you show up in pictures with people behind you at your press event, your publicity stunt, because that's what it is. It was a fundraising opportunity for people like Massey, for people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Accusing the president of being a pedophile, you think that's going to get things done? It's sad, but this admission from Thomas Massey basically says it all. If he's saying that these victims would be exposing themselves to legal retaliation over making accusations and naming names, it means they don't have enough to back up their accusations, that in a court, these accusations wouldn't hold up and they'd lose a defamation case. That's what it means. And I have had several lawyers reach out to me this morning and say, Sean, that's exactly what that means. And I'm not a lawyer. That's what that means. And it's unfortunate. I'm not telling anyone, move on, stop talking about it. No, we could try and get justice for the victims any way we can. But you would think if they had this evidence, they would have already put it out. They wouldn't have waited 20 years. All right. We're going to move off of this Epstein story now. We're going to move on to a word from our friends over at Silent. It's slnt.com/Sean, slnt.com/SHAWN. What's the chat looking like with all that? Is it pretty?
I think they agree.
They understand that, and I just want to make sure that we understand that I'm not trying to delegitimize the victims or say that they're lying or say that they're not telling the truth or say that nothing ever happened. I believe that really nasty things happened in that organization with that whole ring. And I want to see as much accountability as possible. What I don't want to see is victims pressured into naming people and wrecking their lives over it. Their lives that they've already had to try and rebuild once. That's the problem. Mo also says a lot of the victims got paid and signed NDAs. That's another problem. You know, there could be, well, I think one of the main witnesses yesterday, victims, was actually somebody who trafficked girls to Epstein herself. I mean, there's just a lot of this that seems fishy.
Yeah, women are a real big problem with trafficking.
It wouldn't be the first time that there were, and I'm not saying that this is what's happening. Please understand this. But what I am going to say is it wouldn't be the first time that there were false accusations either to get money. This happened with Bauer. This happened with Trump, right? E. Jean Carroll, Tiger Woods, right? Turns out, you know, of the 35 girls or whatnot that claimed they did something with him, like only 5 of them did. I'm not saying that this is the same thing, but we have to at least be open to the possibility that maybe somebody isn't telling the truth. And if somebody isn't telling the truth, that delegitimizes the entire platform. Guilt by association. All right. We're going to move on. Let's go to Silent. A word from our friends over at Silent. SLNT.com/Sean. SLNT.com/SHAWN. You know, your phone is a tracking device, right? It's tracking you everywhere you go. Government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals, they're all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint, and they don't ask. They just go right on and they take it. That's why Silent exists. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. No signal means no tracking, no remote access, no breadcrumbs. Take that, Hansel and Gretel. It's the same technology trusted by special operations teams worldwide, used to block signals and avoid surveillance and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now it's available to you to protect your family, protect your freedom, and your digital footprint. Just drop your phone in a Silent Faraday sleeve, and it is off the grid, completely silent, invisible to the outside world. From backpacks to sleeves to crossbodies, Silent's patented technology gives you control over your privacy. Just go to Silent, SLNT.com/Sean to save 15% off and get free shipping on qualifying orders. That is Silent, SLNT.com/Sean. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. Silent.com/Sean. Silence the chaos. SLNT.com/SHAWN. Silence the chaos today. All right. Sip of tea.
Gulp. Oh, gosh. Gulp.
Here it is.
Patooey.
All right. What else do we have to? We're going to get to DC crime here in a second. Yeah, we've got that. I want to put that. I'll give you a look at this in a minute. Actually, we'll just do this real quick right now. I did row your boat, but take a look at this. These were a bunch of leftists. Talking points went out yesterday about that row your boat episode, right? About the narco-terrorists being smoked at sea. Kenneth Roth, we showed that on the show yesterday, right? There's Adam Isaacson. Lethal force against a civilian vessel in international waters is a war crime, if not in self-defense. You know, 48,000 people died of fentanyl poisoning last year in the United States of America. 48,000.
Oh, wait. I have a number for you from Matt Brown.
Only non-lethal actions like warning shots or disabling fire are allowed. Go ahead.
Okay. From 2015 to 2024, 448,000 Americans died of fentanyl. And then he said more Americans have died in the past 10 years from it than died in World War II.
Yep, that's very true.
So,
yep, it's very true.
Tell you, and I forgot until just right now.
Very true. Being suspected of carrying drugs doesn't carry a death sentence. Michael Parlberg, why didn't we just track and interdict the vessel in U.S. waters, arrest the crew, and seize the drugs, as the U.S. Coast Guard routinely does? The two Krasenstein, the tummy stick twins, as you know, they got involved in the conversation. Factory reset, don't know who that is. Trump is going against civilized norms. We know he loves the death penalty, and now he's executing people off the coast of Venezuela. They're trying to Maryland man this situation. F all of them. And I want more cartel boats to be bombed into tiny little pieces. I hope I make myself clear. All right, here's a word from our friend Jeremy Harrell on behalf of one of our sponsors, Goldcrest. Take a look.
Hey everybody, Jeremy Harrell here. Look, I want to talk to you a little bit about gold and silver. When I was a kid, I always wondered what Fort Knox must look like. And when I was a kid, I always envisioned that when you would walk into Fort Knox, you would see just gold everywhere, literally raining gold, kind of like what you see behind me right now. Unfortunately, as a grown-up, I don't have that kind of imagination anymore, and I don't even have that much trust that Fort Knox has the 5,000 tons of gold that we're supposed to have there. Meaning that decades ago, we went off the gold standard in this country, which took the value of our dollar down to just mere pennies. And since our federal government doesn't want to go back to a gold standard currency, then it's time to us to take matters into our own hands. Have you ever thought about buying gold and silver? Have you ever thought about taking portions of your IRA or your 401k or your nest egg or your savings and putting it into gold and silver, either all or a portion of it? Have you ever wanted to purchase silver like this in bullion or premium? I know I do. And I know I wanted to take matters back into my own hands, which is why I have worked with Golden Crest Metals to do that. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA is going to be your go-to, absolutely transparent and trusted partner. Now, you can go to that website or you can call 888-308-4202. And what the good thing about this is they're going to guide you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to guide you. They're going to give you all the answers to your questions. And there's going to be no hidden fees. It's completely transparent. No hidden fees, no pressure, no surprise markups whatsoever. Clients get to see everything before they purchase. They've even agreed to lower the minimum investment to the LFA audience in order to make sure that everybody has access to this. Free IRA storage, free insured shipping, and a full range of precious metals from gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. And if it's easier for you to just maybe click a QR code, well, guess what? We've got that available for you too. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Click this QR code on your screen and it'll take you right there. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. Again, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA, or call 888-308-4202 today to reach these guys. They're going to be a great partner for you, just as they have been for me, and we absolutely recommend here at LFA TV, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Golden Crest Metals. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. There it is. Check it out. If it sounds like something that'd be interesting to you, a good way to hedge against inflation. You know, the price of gold just keeps going up, 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 like a rocket ship. All right. I wanted to get to this as well. Has Muriel Bowser, the mayor of Washington, D.C., has she started to learn her lesson? Maybe she's a little more politically astute than I gave her credit for. Apparently, Muriel Bowser is asking for more police after Donald Trump's federalization of Washington, D.C., which is pretty interesting. Bowser asking for more police, hundreds of more police, as Trump's federal control of D.C.'s police force winds down. She says they have a lot of room to grow their department. Muriel Bowser, speaking at a press conference, announced a new contract with the D.C. Fraternal Order of Police to strengthen officer retention and recruitment. Quote, "Since I have been mayor in the last 10 years, it has been my priority to ensure that we're hiring the best of the best, that we are retaining the officers that we need to keep D.C. safe, and that we've always believed that getting back to the 4,000 officers is our goal. So currently we have a lot of room to grow our department." She said that the city has brought in, quote, 135 new recruits and welcomed 124 cadets into the pipeline this year, but stressed that the department remains short-staffed. Quote, "We need to add hundreds of more police. We're currently at 3,188 sworn officers," Bowser said, adding that the new agreement includes, quote, "a 13% pay increase for our officers, sergeants, lieutenants, and above, which will begin October 1st of this year," she noted, according to Fox News. Comments come as Trump's public safety emergency declared in early August under Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act approaches its September 10th expiration date. That order temporarily placed the Metropolitan Police Department under federal authority. Last week, we played this clip for you of Muriel Bowser expressing her gratitude for Trump sending in those federal officers and the effect that it had on the city. Here is a refresher on that.
The federal surge has had a significant increase on crime in Washington, D.C. And we greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what MPD has been able to do in this city. The most significant thing that we are highlighting today is the area of crime that was most troubling for us in 2023. Now, we have driven it down over the last years, but I'm going to get my glasses so I can make sure I can see it correctly. But for carjackings, the difference between this period, this 20-day period of this federal surge and last year represents a 87% reduction in carjackings in Washington, D.C. We know that when carjackings go down, when the use of gun goes down, when homicide or robbery go down, neighborhoods feel safer and are safer. So this surge has been important to us for that reason.
Bad Moon pointing out that Muriel Bowser is on her Save Her Ass tour, but I'll give you credit where it's due. You could see other blue state and blue city mayors and elected officials coming out and taking the same approach by saying, all right, you know what, we have a crime problem. Let's work with the president. Let's do it. Now, Muriel Bowser didn't really have a choice in the matter, but she is, I think, handling it better than any other Democrat in the country when it comes to crime. She's grateful that the city is safer. Now, is she going to continue the policies put forth by Trump and the culture, the law enforcement culture, the tough on crime culture that this federal surge has brought to D.C.? That remains to be seen. I'm not getting my hopes up, but I hope she does follow through with that as well, because it will only make Washington, D.C. that much safer. And that's the end game here. The end game here is to prove that taking a tough on crime, anti-criminal approach, right, and levying the consequences that are on the books already for these violent criminals, right, that taking that approach and enforcing the laws as they're written is the best way to crack down on crime and make those neighborhoods and cities safer. That's been proven in D.C., and I guess now we're going to see what happens in Chicago. We're going to see what happens in New Orleans, and so on and so forth. Moving on to New York City. Very interesting chatter coming out of the Trump administration with regards to New York City and the mayoral race. Okay? Very interesting chatter coming from the administration. The odds are stacked against Republicans. They're even stacked against moderate Democrats in New York City when it comes to the mayoral race, right? Zoran Mamdani is the front runner. I don't care if that offends you. I don't care if you think that means I'm being negative. I'm being realistic. Zoran Mamdani is the front runner. He's the 80% favorite to win on Kalshi and Polymarket. That is just the snapshot of the situation, okay? That doesn't mean stop trying. That doesn't mean give up. That does not mean throw in the towel. Those are just the stats. That is just the likelihood. Mamdani is more than likely to become the next mayor of New York City. However, there was a poll recently conducted by Tulchin. I've never heard of this firm, but there was a poll. Okay? There was a poll that had Andrew Cuomo defeating Zoran Mamdani rather comfortably. 52% to, I believe, like 41% or something, like by 11 percentage points. If it were down to a head-to-head matchup between Cuomo and Mamdani. I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know. But right now, it's not a head-to-head race, so that poll doesn't necessarily carry much water. This is very interesting chatter coming from the Trump administration. Apparently, Trump advisors are discussing the possibility of giving Curtis Sliwa and Eric Adams jobs in the administration to get them out of the race so that it turns into a head-to-head matchup between Cuomo and Mamdani. Now, I'm going to say at face value right here, I do not support this. It reeks of election interference. I understand why he's doing it, or he's not doing it, why they're talking about it. I understand the desire to keep Mamdani from taking power in a place like New York City. I get it. But if this race is going to turn into a head-to-head race, it's got to do so organically, because it just, again, this just reeks of election interference and rigging and all of this other stuff. I get why they want to do it. I get why Trump wants to do it. I mean, if it works, then he can take credit. I saved New York. I did this. I did that. I get it. The problem is, I really don't think the optics are good here. I don't. And I don't know where you guys stand on this in the chat, but I'm kind of at the point where, look, federal government, keep your hands off of local elections. He's not giving these guys jobs because he wants them in the administration, or else he would have already offered them jobs. He's doing it to influence the results of the mayoral election. I say he's doing it. There's nothing concrete. He hasn't said he's doing it yet. This is just chatter, right? I don't know if I like this idea. But at the same time, I don't want Mamdani to be in power, right? But do I want him to be in power in New York City to finally highlight how bad it is? But is it going to make a difference because they vote like a monolith? These are all these devil, angel on my shoulder thing, And what if it doesn't work? Well, if it doesn't work, you haven't lost anything at that point. But the federalist in me, the separation between the federal government and state and local government, says don't do it. That's the federal. And I look, if it was a different Democrat, for example, and I don't love this guy, but like Michael Bloomberg, okay? If he came back, he can't run, but if he came back and said he's running for mayor and the Trump administration was clearing the path for somebody maybe like him, but to do it for Andrew Cuomo, who like killed old people. I can't. I can't get behind. I can't get behind it. I can't get behind it if you're clearing a path to beat Mamdani, but that path is Andrew Cuomo. I just can't get behind that. He doesn't deserve that. At that point, let the city burn. And let the voters figure it out themselves. And let the candidates figure it out themselves. Please, I don't think we should be rigging elections in favor of Andrew Cuomo. And he hasn't said that he's doing it. I'm just saying this is chatter. Okay? Rumors. Nothing is set in stone yet. But I don't want him to do it. I don't want him to do it. I lived through Cuomo as governor. I never want that guy to be in a position of power again. Yeah, is he the lesser of two evils between him and Mamdani? Yes. Yes. I hate saying it. I can't believe I'm saying it, but Andrew Cuomo is the lesser of two evils between him and Zohran Mamdani. That said, I would not be going out of my way if I was Donald Trump to put Andrew Cuomo back in a position of power. I wouldn't do it. But I understand why he wants to do it. All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll get to a word from our friends over at Patriot Mobile, patriotmobile.com/FARASH, patriotmobile.com/Farish. Folks, I know there's many choices when it comes to who you choose for your cell phone service, and there are new ones popping up all over the place. But here's the truth. There's only one that boldly stands in the gap for every American that believes that freedom is worth fighting for, and that is Patriot Mobile. For more than 12 years, Patriot Mobile has been on the front lines fighting for our God-given rights and freedoms while also providing exceptional nationwide cell phone service with access to all three of the major U.S. networks. Don't just take my word for it. Ask the hundreds of thousands of Americans who have made the switch and are now supporting causes that they believe in, including many people in our chat. Switching is easier than ever. Activate in minutes from the comfort of your own home. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade your phone. Patriot Mobile's all-U.S.-based support team is standing by to take care of you. Call 972-PATRIOT today or go to patriotmobile.com/ FARASH. Use the promo code FARASH for a free month of service. That is patriotmobile.com/FARASH. patriotmobile.com/FARASH or call 972-PATRIOT. 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code FARASH for a free month of service. patriotmobile.com/FARASH. patriotmobile.com/FARASH. Have we hit Mo?
We have.
All right.
We have multiple Mo sightings in the chat.
Okay, there it is. We flipped him. We threw him. He's a cute hedgehog. We like him. All right. Man, voice is going. I got a lot more to do today.
Yes, you do.
Got a lot more to do. Got to make sure we keep this voice going. All right. Here's an interesting story. Speaking of Chicago and speaking of crime. Chicago prosecutors say that a Venezuelan migrant stalked teens, murdered one, and shot another. I guess that's just another one of those examples of these guys coming for a better life, right? Maybe he's just one of those fishermen, with 4,000 horsepower outboard motors, no fishing poles, but he was a fisherman, right? Chicago prosecutors are accusing a Venezuelan immigrant of stalking a group of teens, murdering one, and shooting and wounding a second in the city's Canaryville neighborhood. Police say the migrant, Daniel Navas Maever, 19 years old, stalked a group of teens and then murdered a 15-year-old, shot and wounded a 12-year-old in an ambush-style attack. The victims were reportedly unarmed. Shocking. Maever was arrested shortly after the August 28th murder. Police reportedly found the murder weapon in his home, and a police report says he was wearing the same clothing witness said he had on during the commission of the crime. 19-year-old illegal alien murdered and stalked teenagers. Just here for a better life, right? Just here for a better life. It's disgusting that we have to deal with this in our country. Should not be happening. All right, I have I've been meaning to get to this Section 8 story. I am going to punt on this again, and we're going to throw this into the show tomorrow. And if we have to make it quick, then we will. But the long and short of this is Housing and Urban Development here. The Department of Housing and Urban Development is requiring proof of citizenship for housing benefits through Section 8, which is that is massive because there's no reason why we should have illegal aliens or non-citizens taking advantage of taxpayer funds to get access to affordable housing, right? So that ties into a story out of Colorado regarding Section 8 and what taxpayers are funding in Colorado regarding Section 8, the types of apartments and the cost of some of these apartments monthly. Folks, some of the apartments that they are funding are more expensive than some Americans' mortgage. It's crazy. So we'll get to that tomorrow because that's an important story, and that ties into the border, and it ties into DOGE. It ties into taxpayers funding the lives of people who don't belong here. All right, I want to get to one more word. I know we've had a lot of reads today. It's because we had a jammed week with Monday being a holiday, so we had to get to all of it, but we do have to pay the bills. TryArmor.com/LFA TV. I know a lot of folks in our chat love Armor Colostrum. That's TryArmor.com/LFA TV. You guys know I'm always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity and gut health, improve my fitness, especially after 2 days ago I got my workout started. I'm sore like crazy. Improve my fitness and metabolism, and enhance my skin and hair radiance. That is what Armor Colostrum can do for you, and a whole lot more. Colostrum is the first nutrition we receive in life. Contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. It can help reactivate your hair growth and help your skin glow. It can help fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism. And it can help fuel your fitness, performance, and recovery. You can harness the close-guarded secret of elite athletes, long prized for its unrivaled ability to take performance to its apex. Colostrum has been shown in research to help enhance nutrient absorption, promote lean muscle building, and improve endurance while fueling cellular repair regeneration for faster recovery. Specifically, colostrum has been shown to improve fitness endurance by 20%, decrease recovery time by over 50% after intense exercise, improve stamina, and specifically build lean muscle mass. Go to tryarmor.com/LFA TV for this special offer for the LFA family. That is TRYARMRA.com/LFA TryArmor.com/LFA TV. TryArmor.com/LFA TV for 15% off of your entire first order. That is TryArmor.com/LFA TV for 15% off of your first order. All right. Let me take another sip of tea here. My gosh. All right. Again, just to wrap up and put a bow on the Epstein stuff today, just this post from Thomas Massey and this, the whole idea with, Marjorie Taylor Greene and the press conference. I thought it was a publicity stunt. We heard that now Gloria Allred came out, and she's a serial hoaxer and scammer in her own right as a lawyer. The fact that the Epstein victim's attorney said that there was no list, no client list. I mean, a lot of people took a lot of crap for saying that earlier this year, didn't they? When logic would have led you in the direction that there isn't a list of names that Epstein kept himself. And if Thomas Massey is saying that these victims would be at risk of getting sued for defamation because they'd be making accusations, it would mean that they're making accusations without any available proof of those accusations, of those crimes being committed. That's not to say that they didn't happen. That's to say there's no proof that they happened that's available to them or anybody right now. If you want to talk about a cover-up, you got to go back decades. That's when the cover-up started. It's not now. And that is why Donald Trump has called it a hoax. Not saying that these things didn't happen, but because Republicans keep putting themselves out in front of scenes like this, Marjorie Taylor Greene, where Donald Trump is being accused of covering for pedophiles. That's not helping anybody. And she knows that. Or maybe she doesn't, because she's not that bright. All right. Jeremy Harrell up next with Live from America coming up on LFA TV. Check out the LFA TV store. Click on that store tab. Let Jeremy know in his chat that you just ordered something big and beautiful from the LFA TV store. You understand it? Big, beautiful shirts, flannels, mugs, coffee, all sorts of good stuff at the LFA TV store. LFATV.us, LFATV.us, or JeremyHarrell.com/store. Thank you so much to everybody who watched and listened. Hey, we've seen a huge uptick in audio downloads. Okay, so if you're watching on any platform right now, do me a favor and just go to any of your podcasting apps, search for Ungoverned, hit subscribe. That's all you've got to do. It helps us reach a lot of new people on the audio side, which is, we just put the audio up of the show every day. The best way to watch is at rumble.com/LFA TV. Make sure you're following the channel. Make sure no matter where you're watching, you're hitting repost, you're hitting share, you're hitting the like button. Drop a comment underneath everything, the ones not in the chat, the permanent comments down below the show as well. Greatly appreciate it. Love to reply to everybody who drops those comments as well. Thank you so much for watching and listening. As President Trump says, we will never give up. We will never give in. We will never ever surrender. And if all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your Thursday. I'll be on Newsmax with Carl Higbee a little bit later today. We got PhD again tomorrow morning, 7:45 Eastern Time. We got you tomorrow as well here on LFA TV and your calls. Until then, have a great rest of your day. Jeremy Harrell up next. Thank you for your attention to this matter.